You're exhausted from running after a life that keeps receding like the horizon. Every goal achieved only reveals another goal. Every relationship secured only highlights another need. Every success only illuminates another failure. Carl Jung discovered the dark truth that explains this endless chase. You're not actually running towards something. You're running from something. And what you're running from is yourself. The moment you stop chasing external solutions to internal problems, everything changes. Not because the world rearranges itself to meet your needs, but because you finally turn to face what you've been fleeing. And in that turning, in that moment of stillness, you discover that everything you've been desperately seeking outside has been waiting inside all along. If you're ready to understand the psychological law that keeps you trapped in this cycle, to see the shadow material you've been avoiding, and to experience the exact moment when everything shifts from running to being, then keep watching. Jung observed this pattern in thousands of patients. The harder they chased happiness, the more miserable they became. The more desperately they sought love, the lonelier they felt. The more frantically they pursued success, the emptier their achievements rang. If you too feel like you're constantly running after a life that keeps moving just out of reach, comment chasing. This isn't coincidence. It is psychological law. The psyche operates on principles of compensation. What you chase externally is usually what you're avoiding internally. And until you stop the external chase and face the internal void, you're condemned to run forever. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. This isn't poetic metaphor. It's precise psychological description. When you're chasing, you're dreaming, projecting your inner needs onto outer objects that can never fulfill them. The perfect partner who'll complete you, the achievement that'll prove your worth, the experience that'll finally make you feel alive. But these are mirages created by projection. The completion, worth, and aliveness you seek aren't out there. They're in here, waiting for you to stop running long enough to notice. The chase begins early, before you're even conscious of it. As children, we learn that love comes from meeting expectations. Safety comes from achieving goals. Worth comes from external validation. So, we start running toward approval, toward success, toward whatever promises to fill the growing emptiness inside. But Jung discovered that this emptiness isn't a flaw to be fixed or a hole to be filled. It's a sacred space meant to contain something that can only grow in stillness. Your true self. Think about what you're chasing right now. The relationship that will finally make you whole. The career success that will prove you matter. The body that will make you acceptable. The enlightenment that will end your suffering. Notice how each goal carries a promise. When I have this, then I'll be okay. But Jung observed that then never comes. There's always another condition, another achievement needed, another chase to run. The goalpost keeps moving because the game itself is rigged. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your chasing patterns aren't random. They're precise maps of your unconscious material. What you compulsively seek outside shows exactly what you're avoiding inside. The person desperately chasing romantic love is running from their own self-abandonment. The one obsessively pursuing wealth is fleeing from inner poverty. The individual constantly seeking approval is avoiding their own self-rejection. The chase is always away from shadow material that needs integration. Jung's own life exemplified this principle. For years, he chased professional success, Freud's approval, academic recognition. But the harder he ran, the more meaningless it felt. Only when his outer world collapsed, when Freud rejected him, when colleagues turned away, when success became impossible, did he stop chasing and turn inward. In that stillness, he encountered the visions, dreams, and insights that would become his life's true work. The chase had been keeping him from his destiny. The moment of stopping often comes through crisis. The relationship you thought would save you falls apart. The career you sacrificed everything for feels empty. the identity you've been maintaining becomes unbearable. These aren't failures, they're the psyche's way of forcing you to stop running. When external solutions no longer work, when the chase leads only to exhaustion, you're finally ready to turn around and face what you've been fleeing. What Jung discovered in that turning is revolutionary. The moment you stop chasing, synchronicities multiply. When you cease frantically seeking, what you need starts finding you. Not because of magical thinking, but because you're finally still enough to notice what was always there. You're finally present enough to recognize opportunities. You're finally authentic enough to attract what truly matches your nature rather than your projections. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. But becoming requires stopping. You can't discover who you are while running after who you think you should be. You can't hear your inner voice while chasing external validation. You can't feel your true desires while pursuing borrowed dreams. The chase keeps you in perpetual motion, and perpetual motion prevents depth, prevents growth, prevents real transformation. The shadow work here is essential. What you're chasing is usually the light side of what you're avoiding. Chasing love while avoiding loneliness. Pursuing success while running from feelings of inadequacy. Seeking spiritual enlightenment while fleeing from ordinary humanness. Jung understood that you can't have the light without the shadow. The moment you stop chasing the light and turn to face the shadow, both integrate into something more complete. This doesn't mean becoming passive or giving up on life. Jung wasn't advocating apathy or withdrawal. He was pointing to a different kind of action. Action from being rather than from lacking. When you stop chasing from emptiness, you can start creating from fullness. When you cease running from yourself, you can begin moving toward genuine expression. The energy freed from compulsive chasing becomes available for authentic living. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But you can't become who you are while chasing who you think you should be. The chase itself maintains the split between false self and true self. Every moment spent running toward an external ideal is a moment not spent discovering your actual nature. The tragedy is that what you're chasing, love, meaning, purpose, naturally emerges when you stop chasing and start being. Jung observed that the psyche is self-regulating. Like the body, it knows how to heal itself when given the right conditions. But chasing prevents these conditions. It maintains stress, perpetuates splits, reinforces neurosis. The moment you stop chasing, the psyche's natural healing mechanisms activate. Dreams become clearer. Intuitions grow stronger. The path forward reveals itself not through effort, but through allowance. The concept of the self, the archetype of wholeness, is crucial here. The ego chases because it feels incomplete, but the self is already whole, already containing everything you seek outside. The moment you stop chasing and connect with self, you realize the search was always doomed because you were looking for yourself in all the wrong places. It's like frantically searching for your glasses while wearing them. Show me a sane man and I will cure him for you. What we call sanity often includes chronic chasing, the normal neurosis of always seeking the next thing. Jung's cure was to help people see the futility of the chase, not through philosophy, but through experience. When you truly grasp that external achievements can't fill internal voids, that other people can't complete your incompleteness, that experiences can't substitute for being, then the chase naturally ends. This ending of the chase creates what Jung called sacred space, psychological room for the new to emerge. When you're constantly chasing, your psyche is full of motion but empty of growth. Stopping creates stillness, and in stillness, transformation happens. Like a supersaturated solution that suddenly crystallizes, the moment you stop agitating, new structures form. The fear of stopping is immense. Who are you if not someone chasing dreams? What's life without goals to pursue? Won't you become depressed, purposeless, lost? These fears keep the chase going, even when it's clearly not working. But Jung discovered that stopping the neurotic chase allows authentic purpose to emerge. When you're not running from yourself, you can finally hear what you're called toward. Relationships transform completely when you stop chasing. Instead of pursuing others to fill your voids, you meet them as whole person to whole person. Instead of needing them to be something for you, you can allow them to be themselves. Instead of the exhausting performance of trying to be lovable, you can risk being real. The love that emerges from non-chasing has a completely different quality. It's not desperate but generous, not grasping but flowing. The same transformation happens with creativity. When you stop chasing inspiration, inspiration finds you. When you cease pursuing the perfect creation, authentic expression emerges. When you quit running after recognition, your true voice speaks. Jung's Red Book emerged not from chasing artistic achievement, but from surrendering to what wanted to be expressed through him. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Notice who irritates you most. Often it's those who aren't chasing what you're chasing. The person content with simplicity when you're chasing complexity. The one at peace with ordinariness when you're pursuing extraordinariness. The individual who stopped when you're still running. They irritate because they reflect the possibility you're afraid to consider, that the chase might be unnecessary. The moment of stopping often feels like defeat. You've failed to catch what you were chasing. You've given up on your dreams. You've admitted inadequacy. But Jung reframed this apparent defeat as the beginning of real victory. Not victory over life, but victory over the neurotic patterns that were preventing you from living. Not achievement of goals, but achievement of being. What changes when you stop chasing? Everything and nothing. Externally, life might look similar, but internally, the entire orientation shifts. Instead of living from lack, you live from presence. Instead of moving from fear, you move from love. Instead of acting from should, you act from must. The same activities, work, relationships, creativity, continue, but their source and quality transform completely. Jung discovered that individuation, becoming who you truly are, requires this stopping. You can't individuate while chasing collective ideals. You can't become yourself while pursuing others' expectations. You can't realize your true nature while running from it. The chase maintains the very split that individuation heals. Stopping allows the split to mend, the projections to return, the authentic self to emerge. The practical question becomes, how do you stop? Jung's answer wasn't through willpower. The same ego that creates the chase can't end it. Instead, he pointed toward consciousness. See clearly what you're chasing and why. Recognize the projection. Understand what you're avoiding. Feel the exhaustion of running. Let the futility become undeniable. When you truly see the mechanism, the chase loses its compulsive quality. Active imagination provides a powerful tool. Dialogue with the part of you that's chasing. Ask what it's seeking. Listen to its fears about stopping. Thank it for trying to protect you. Then dialogue with the part that's exhausted from running. Let these parts communicate. Often they discover they want the same thing. Safety, love, meaning. They just have different strategies. Integration allows a third way that neither chases nor collapses. Dreams often comment on our chasing patterns. Dreams of missing trains, failing exams, being unprepared. These might reflect the anxiety of the eternal chase. Dreams of arriving somewhere unexpected, finding treasure in your own backyard, discovering rooms in your own house. These point toward what's available when you stop seeking elsewhere. Pay attention to how dreams depict your relationship with seeking and finding. The body holds immense wisdom about chasing. Notice your physical state when chasing, the tension, the forward lean, the held breath. Now, notice your body when you stop, the settling, the grounding, the deeper breathing. The body knows that chasing is stress and stopping is restoration. It's constantly signaling what the mind ignores, that sustainable life requires rhythm between motion and stillness. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. This principle applies to everything we chase. Your task isn't to seek happiness, but to find what you're doing that prevents it. Not to pursue meaning, but to remove what obscures it. Not to chase wholeness, but to stop fragmenting yourself. The moment you cease the external seeking and turn toward the internal barriers, everything shifts. Jung's ultimate insight is that life isn't a problem to be solved through chasing solutions. It's a mystery to be lived through present moment engagement. The chase assumes life is elsewhere, in the future, in achievements, in others. But life is only here now. In this moment, you're spending chasing the next moment. The supreme irony is that everything you're chasing is available in the moment you stop chasing. This doesn't mean desires disappear or goals become meaningless. It means they arise from fullness rather than emptiness. You still move toward what calls you, but not from compulsion. You still engage with life fully, but not from desperation. You still grow and change, but not from self-rejection. The energy that was bound up in neurotic chasing becomes available for authentic living. The moment you stop chasing, you discover what Jung called the treasure hard to attain. Not because it's distant, but because it's so close you overlook it. The love you sought in others lives in your own heart. The meaning you chased in achievements rests in simple being. The completion you pursued externally waits in accepting your incompleteness. Everything changes because you finally see what was always there. Your life has been a long chase, exhausting, and ultimately futile. But this futility isn't failure, it's preparation. You had to chase long enough to realize the impossibility of catching. You had to run far enough to recognize you're going in circles. You had to exhaust every external option to finally turn inward. Now, in this moment, you can stop. Not from defeat, but from wisdom. Not from giving up, but from growing up. The invitation is simple, but not easy. Stop chasing, turn around, face what you've been fleeing, meet what you've been avoiding, include what you've been rejecting. In that turning, in that meeting, in that inclusion, discover that everything you've been desperately seeking was never missing. It was just waiting for you to stop long enough to receive it. Jung showed us that the end of chasing isn't the end of life, it's the beginning of real life. When you stop running from yourself, you start living as yourself. When you cease seeking completion outside, you begin experiencing wholeness inside. When you quit chasing dreams, you start living the dream that's been trying to live through you all along. The moment of stopping is available now, not after one more achievement, not once you've found what you're seeking, not when conditions are perfect. Now, in this breath, in this pause, in this turning from outer to inner, everything you've been chasing is waiting in the stillness you've been avoiding. Jung's promise is simple: stop running and let life catch up with you. You might discover it's been trying to all along. Tell me in the comments, what's the one thing you've been chasing that never quite satisfies? And if you want to dive even deeper into Jung's psychology, click the video on your screen now.